Hey guys, what's up? Spectre here, and recently Bethesda and Zenimax treated me to a preview of Greymoor, the upcoming chapter in Elder Scrolls Online. I've got information on what's to come in the next big update of the game, what you can expect in story, gameplay, information for newbies and veterans alike, and even my impressions after hands-on time with the game. And remember, for more videos like this and coverage of other Bethesda titles, make sure to get subbed. But without further ado, let's jump right in. The presentation from ESO's creative director, Rich Lambert, started off with some enthusiastic news about the game itself. It's grown from 13 million players last year to a whopping 15 million, and Zenimax doesn't plan on slowing down. They found success with the new year-long story model, and that's where we'll be headed this year. They made sure to reassure us that Greymoor will be aimed at both veterans and newcomers alike. In this dark and twisted story, players will visit the western lands of Skyrim, 1,000 years before the events of Elder Scrolls V. The Nords you'll encounter in these lands are different from the ones you've come to know, as they didn't join the Ebonheart Pact. They're different in terms of politics and have a deep distrust of strangers, like you. You'll explore new corners of the Hold, and even retread old ground like Solitude, Morthal, and Blackreach, as you uncover a mystery in the vein of the game's Rivenspire lore with darker themes and tones. The update's main story centers around witches, werewolves, and vampires, as people are disappearing within harrow storms that are ravaging the overworld. Innocent victims are left to walk Nirn as mindless zombies, known as the Harrowed or Blood Fiends. You'll be trying to figure out just why this is taking place. It's a sinister plot that will have you fighting the occult in order to save Solitude and Tamriel as a whole. You'll be teaming up with favorite characters like Lyris Titanborn, who I can guarantee you after my playtime plays a large role in this story, Narcissus Dren, Rigert the Brash, and members of the Raven Watch, which are personally my favorite sect in Elder Scrolls lore. These vampires operate in the shadows to regulate other bloodsuckers, eliminating those who cause trouble. A new story isn't the only addition to the game. Blackreach, a space previously seen in Elder Scrolls, will be expanded upon in a whole new way. About 40% of the new in-game space will be located in this labyrinthian underworld, hiding just under Skyrim. There'll be a number of objectives, quests, and even a public dungeon in Blackreach. The team even divided it into distinct biomes with different flora and enemies to keep things varied, as well as just making navigation a bit easier. For you veterans who've been waiting for some news, there's an all-new 12-player trial coming to the game as well. This high-level endgame activity will be called Kind's Aegis. It will send 12 players to an island north of Solitude to take on an army of sea giants led by a vampire lord. I was told it would be similar in size and scope to the Sunspire trial from elsewhere. It'll feature 3 bosses with unique hard modes. It'll be a bit more linear in order to facilitate better navigation, which allowed the team to design some interesting set pieces. Rich Lambert told us a bit about one boss in particular in the trial named Captain Brawl, who you'll be fighting on a giant longship, requiring you to arm and use ballistae to take him on. If you survive the trial, you'll be rewarded with new gear, new enchantments, and new cosmetics. Another big addition that players have been asking for is an advanced editor for your player home, allowing you to have more granular control over placing items and decorations. In a story packed with vampires, devs wanted to make some meaningful changes to vampirism in Elder Scrolls Online, rather than just having one active ability that players use once in a while. They reworked abilities, added a new ultimate called Blood Scion, which will even allow you to change forms similar to the way you did in TES 5. This new ultimate is now tied into the justice system, making using them in public spaces a criminal act. And in what may be the most important change, they flipped the way that you gain power as a vampire. Previously, abstaining from blood made you more powerful, but now you'll have to feed in order to gain power. Similar to using the Blade of Woe, you'll sneak up on unsuspecting NPCs and drink your fill. When you aren't questing with Lyris or drinking from the innocent, you'll be interacting with the all-new Antiquity system. This is a new gameplay loop for players who've always wanted to channel their inner Indiana Jones. You'll join a new guild known as the Antiquarian Circle. They'll give you leads, which will lead you to artifacts of power, each with its own quality, similar to item quality, so from green to gold. The more valuable or powerful the antiquity, the harder it'll be to attain. After you get a lead, you'll begin scrying. This will start a shape-matching minigame that will unlock clues to the item's location. Once you narrow down where the item is buried, you'll have to manually excavate the item, prompting another minigame. In a cross between Battleship and Minesweeper, you'll have to carefully choose which quadrants to dig up. With a number of tools at your disposal, you'll have to dig up the right squares in a certain number of turns to attain the item. There'll even be bonus items that scale in power and number with the quality and difficulty of the lead. Leads can be purchased, dropped from random encounters, and won from bosses. This game loop and faction is geared towards the lore lovers among you rather than the warriors. It gives you a more peaceful way to play ESO, and new options are always great. And there's some really great rewards for chasing down leads, such as furnishings, motifs, body markings, mementos, emotes, siege weapons, mounts, jewelry enchants, and even new mythic items. These new items will have incredible buffs that come at a high cost. One example we were given was a pair of boots that would keep you from being rooted by enemies, which could be useful in PvP or dungeons, but they do take away your sprint ability at the same time. Along with all those changes, you'll explore a landmass that's larger than any other chapter. 30+ hours of questing, a grim new storyline, new gameplay systems, quality of life improvements, and even server improvements. Not to mention new loot and achievements. I've been playing the main story for the Greymoor update, and it's full of dark political intrigue and occult conspiracy. It's heavy on the vampirism, and for fans of Lyris, there's definitely a lot of her, as well as some other great new faces. Its story has kept me engaged, even in a preview build that was lacking some core assets. I would speak more to builds, abilities, and items, however those aspects like specific stats and values aren't fully balanced, so I don't want to comment on those. All I can say is that I like what I'm seeing from this grim story. My favorite part though is walking the streets of Solitude and Morthal, and other places from Skyrim, a game that I've covered extensively. It's like a fun glimpse in the past that I'm really enjoying. Well, that's it for this Elder Scrolls Online impressions and news roundup. I'll be diving more into Greymoor and as usual providing more coverage for Bethesda titles, so make sure to sub so you don't miss out on any of it. And as always, thanks for watching guys.